Why Colorado's Deion Sanders is already linked to Florida Gators job opening. In the chaotic world of college football, few names generate more noise than Deion coach Prime Sanders. Every time a major coaching position opens up, his name inevitably finds its way into the headlines, whispered in boardrooms and debated on national broadcasts. The Florida Gators' sudden firing of Billy Napier has only reignited that familiar speculation. As news broke that Florida had officially dismissed Napier, ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky wasted no time igniting the rumor mill. In a social media post, he listed Sanders among the early names to watch, alongside notable figures such as Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin, Missouri's Eli Drinkwitz, and South Florida's Alex Golesh. For Sanders, being grouped in such elite company was not just a nod to his growing coaching reputation. It was a sign of how profoundly his brief tenure at Colorado has reshaped perceptions of what's possible in college football leadership. It wasn't long ago that skeptics doubted whether Sanders' charisma and unconventional methods could translate from Jackson State to the Power 5 level. Yet, here he stands, just a couple of years into his Colorado experiment, already being linked to one of the most prestigious jobs in the nation. The national fascination with Coach Prime. When Deion Sanders took over at Colorado, the Buffaloes were in shambles. The roster was depleted, the culture fractured, and the program was treated as an afterthought. Within months, he transformed that environment into a media spectacle and recruiting magnet. Suddenly, Boulder became the epicenter of college football drama, blending swagger with substance. Sanders' personality alone could fill a stadium, but it's his results that have truly silenced critics. Under his leadership, the Buffaloes are no longer a team people overlook. They're a brand, a statement, a reflection of what modern college football can become when confidence meets vision. That's why every time a major position opens up, whether it's in college or even the NFL, like the rumored Dallas Cowboys connection after the 2024 season, Sanders' name surfaces. His presence sells tickets, wins over recruits, and attracts the kind of media attention most programs can only dream of. In the eyes of athletic directors and boosters, Coach Prime isn't just a coach. He's an economic engine. Why Florida makes sense. On paper, Florida is one of the sport's blue blood programs, even if recent years have dimmed its shine. The Gators sit on fertile recruiting grounds, boast first-class facilities, and enjoy the kind of national visibility that can resurrect a coaching career overnight. For someone like Sanders, whose roots trace back to Fort Myers, Florida, and whose college career began at Florida State, the Sunshine State is home turf. It's easy to imagine the allure. Returning to Florida would mean reconnecting with his roots, dominating the recruiting pipelines he once thrived in, and stepping onto a stage that sits at the heart of the Southeastern Conference, the most competitive and visible league in college football. Moreover, Florida's roster has promise. The program features quarterback DJ Lagway, one of the most highly regarded young signal callers in the nation. Having at least 2 more seasons of Lagway's eligibility would give Sanders a foundation, a steady, talented quarterback to build around, which every coach knows is the most critical piece of the puzzle. The Gators also have resources that dwarf what Colorado can offer. From NIL, name, image, likeness funds to recruiting budgets, from facilities to alumni connections, Florida can roll out a red carpet for any coach with the credentials to turn things around. On the surface, it's a dream opportunity. But the reality is more complicated. Yet, what looks like gold from a distance can easily lose its shine up close. The SEC is a meat grinder, a conference where even the best coaches are devoured by relentless expectations and impatient fan bases. Billy Napier, once considered a rising star, just learned that the hard way. In the SEC, a 2-game losing streak can spark calls for your job. At Florida, boosters expect immediate success, not gradual rebuilding. And for Sanders, who has built his program around patience, faith, and authenticity, that kind of environment might be suffocating. Sanders is still crafting his legacy in Boulder, and he knows that walking away too early could undermine everything he's worked for. He preaches loyalty, purpose, and belief, qualities that would lose their resonance if he were to abandon Colorado the moment a shinier opportunity arose. Besides, Sanders recently signed a 5-year contract extension to remain in Boulder before the 2025 season. It's a sign that both he and the university see this as a long-term project, not a stepping stone. Why staying in Colorado makes the most sense. If Sanders' journey has proven anything, it's that he values control and creative freedom, two things he has in abundance at Colorado. There, he's the architect of an entire football movement. The administration trusts him. The fan base adores him. His sons, Shadur and Shiloh Sanders, have thrived under his guidance. And with recruits like Julian Lewis and Jordan Seaton joining the fold, the Buffalo's future looks brighter than it has in decades. Colorado offers him something few jobs can: patience. He can build, experiment, and evolve without the SEC's constant pressure. He can mentor young players, reshape the program's culture, and set the foundation for long-term success. He's not chasing someone else's legacy at Colorado. He's creating his own. At Florida, Sanders would be stepping into the shadow of legends: Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer, and into a cauldron of expectations that swallows coaches whole. But in Boulder, he's the face, the voice, the soul of the program. Every victory feels personal. Every setback, a lesson. The emotional pull of Florida. Still, it would be naive to ignore the emotional magnet of Florida. Sanders' ties to the state run deep. His Florida State years turned him into prime time, the electrifying, gold chain-wearing icon who changed college football swagger forever. The idea of returning home, not as a player, but as a savior of a struggling powerhouse, carries undeniable narrative power. If Florida State's coaching position ever became available, the conversation would intensify tenfold. Fans would clamor for the hometown hero to return. Recruits would dream of playing for him. Media outlets would turn the story into a national saga. But until that day comes, Sanders seems comfortable where he is, focused, content, and driven. What's next for Coach Prime? The coming seasons at Colorado will define Sanders' trajectory. He's already demonstrated that he can flip a roster overnight and breathe life into a program many considered dead. The next challenge is consistency, proving that his model isn't just a one-year wonder but a sustainable path to contention in the Big 12 Conference. Sanders has shown an uncanny ability to motivate and connect with players. His authenticity resonates in an age where college football often feels transactional. He's more than a recruiter or strategist. He's a cultural force who understands how to inspire a generation that values personality and purpose. That's what makes him so appealing to programs like Florida. But it's also why he's so irreplaceable in Boulder. The bottom line: yes, Deion Sanders' name will continue to surface every time a big job opens up. That's the price of being magnetic, successful, and unapologetically yourself. But as tempting as the Gators' position may seem, it's unlikely to lure him away just yet. He's not done building in Colorado. There's unfinished business, championships to chase, recruits to develop, and a culture to cement. And when the story of Coach Prime's college football career is written, his true legacy may not be tied to the programs he could have coached, but the one he transformed. So while Florida searches for its next leader, Deion Sanders will likely remain in Boulder, headset on, eyes forward, and faith unshaken, proving once again that greatness isn't about chasing opportunities,